Alright, so UUPL has just started, and with that comes a lot of advanced games. So, hi, I'm Ellington Reborn. I avidly play Advanced UU, and I'm here to talk about the meta today by viewing some of these replays that the top players have shown throughout the tourney so far. This is week 1 currently. I'm going to do one for every other week. I'm going into this blind so that viewing I'm not viewing them by knowing who wins. So I'm going to go into this completely blind with 8 players, and I don't know who won, but I do know that I have the links here, and this should be really fun. I don't want to do this just to like give some proper insight and commentary as to these games that the top players play, but I want to do it to expand it to a wider advanced community through getting this on YouTube. So that's why I'm here talking about the advanced UU sets that I will go over. And thank you for Queen of Bean for helping linking the replays without actually helping spoil anything. So this is gonna be fun. Um, we have Parpar, Haysup, Chaos, Shiloh. Shiloh is W over here. Shout out to the Ikitown Idols, Avi. Gary Oak, Fatty, aka Brufasa, on screen, I promise. Just like BKC said, I'm not insulting the man. That's just what he likes to be called, is Fatty. Amazing Frost Glass Heavy. And Tortuga Desnuda, aka this is Exern. And Erica from Celadon, aka Hyogafodex. I think I got that pronunciation right. So I'm gonna go in chronological order and give a couple bit of commentary preset. So, okay. Parpar and Haysup. Haysup is known to be one of the best advanced UU players to date. Started in DVP and played for more than a decade, I think. But Haysup has his own way of playing advanced UU, brings a lot of unique teams, and I think that's going to be an uphill battle for Parpar because Parpar very new to the scene but has made such an impact because Parpar knows advance and knows how to play the tier pretty well. And Parpar's teams are a little more sticking to the books than Haysup, but I expect that Parpar will have something to consistently outplay Haysup. So a couple things we can expect from Parpar. I think a standard-ish balanced team. You might see standard Spikes offense, just Kanga, Oma, Tenna, Amphi, Arcanine, etc. Those kinds of teams. But they work, and it helps that consistent stays consistent in advance. And with Haysup, you never know. Anything that you could not expect, you can probably expect from Haysup. I think some things I typically like to prep for against Haysup if I were Parpar is Haysup typically thinks Kanga is not mandatory and Arcanine is mandatory. So always keep that in mind. Is a mandatory Arcanine some kind of knowledge of how to play around it, as well as Kanga too, obviously, since that mon's really good. Haysup also mandatory spikes. That's anything that you'll see from Haysup, and it's not even just Oma, it's all 5 of the spikers. So if you're a Parpar, I wouldn't go hyper offense. I would go something like a spinner, because that's what Haysup forces you to do. Haysup forces you to run a spinner, and fortunately the spinners are good. And Haysup, I wouldn't hyper offense Haysup. It mandatory Arcanine makes it a bit hard to pilot hyper offense against such a good player such as Haysup. But we will see. I'm gonna start the game. Okay, so lead Solrock, You don't typically see lead Solrock too often. This is a standard Arcanine lead. Like, everyone knows Arcanine lead. It's one of the best leads in the tier. It can thief you, it can blast you with charcoal overheat, it can do all kinds of things. But I think if you're Parpar, you don't really stay into Solrock. You want to scout out what it's going to be, since typically lead Solrocks are going to want to do a lot of damage up front, so they're typically going to be CB. But it's going to be a safe pivot because the Intimidate attack drop. So just if you're Parpar, you're kind of forced into a defensive spot here, and just know what kind of switch in you're going to send in, whether that be a bulky water or some other kind of rock resist. Okay, and there's a Gramble. Okay, there's an EQ. Possibly catches the Arcanine stay pretty well, but also catches an Omastar switch in and or some kind of thing. Mainly Omastar, but there's Gramble, there's a double Intimidate, so that's good into haste up, and now Parpar has momentum here. We don't know exactly what bowl set this is gonna be quite yet, but haste up knows that he can't just keep EQing here. He has to like scout Shadow Ball in some way, or no, excuse me, some kind of bulk up. So if I were haste up, I would just play it safe, go to just a proper Gramble switch in here. Arcanine, I see. Okay, so yeah, that's an interesting move from Parpar. Just double into Arcanine. I have it on slow. I should set it to normal because I'm talking so much. um, I can see it. I can see an Arcanine double there in case it's like just in case an Oma switched into the Gramble just to get some cheeky spikes. The Arcanine's double there could be good to like force it out with HP Grass. Always null opposing spikes. That was a good call from Parpar, but we can tell that both are Intimidate Arcanine, which Hasteup's pretty keen on Flash Fire Arcanine, but this is just going to be standard Intimidate. But if there's some kind of mix set that actually pressures other Arcanine, Parpar still has the upper hand because this is an Intim attack drop, so HP Ground does like 26 or something. Let's see what happens. Tentacruel. Okay, so they revealed both of their Arcanine switches. On Haste side, it's a Blastoise. On Parpar side, it's a Tentacruel. That makes complete sense. Doubles to Kanga on Blastoise EQ because Blastoise is very good, and EQ is there to punish any kind of tennis stay and makes it an actual tennis switch in. So Kanga's in, and we can get more info on both of their teams. It Fire, both have Arcanine, both have a Water, both have a good physical breaker in CB Solrock and Gramble. We don't actually know what kind of bowl set it is yet, but it's lefties because it kind of has to be lefties on this kind of team anyway. But okay, so Kanga gets to do Kanga things here. Okay, good for the Arcanine just to chip down the Blastoise. Refresh. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Surf, EQ, Refresh. Last is Spin. So now Parpar knows the full Blastoise set, and it's definitely not Focus Punch because you would need to fit Spin in here. So that probably gives a note to Parpar that he can probably pressure Haystup's Blastoise a little bit more with Kanga, be more cavalier with throwing out Toxic and overwhelming it over the longer course of the game, because the main offensive pressure it has is on Arcanine and Tentacruel. So I wish I liked Refresh better. It's just it makes Toys a little passive. And I think if I wanted something to null status, I would either pair Blastoise with a Beller, as is very common with Blastoise, or just use Rest, because it gives me recovery. But that's me. Okay, that's exactly what Parpar's deciding to do, just deciding to overwhelm the Blastoise with status, and yeah, that was Body Slam. Good wish, good wish. So now it switches into Soul Rock a little bit better, but Haste Up caught the Gramble. That is HP. Okay, yeah, I think that's HP Electric because HP Ground would have done more. Yeah, that is HP Electric. So I've seen Haste Up run a bit of HP Electric, and it's there. It's definitely there. It's just, yeah. There's a Roselia. Cool. There is a Haste Up classic. Haste Up likes to bring a lot of the out of the ordinary stuff, and Roselia is no exception. Not a lot of people have caught on to it. I kind of wanted to, but ugh, Rose doesn't pressure stays too well, and its main form of offensive progress is Stun Spore, which is what it threatens right now on this Tenta. Or it can just play it safe, get a spike, see what happens, see if Tentacruel tries pressuring it with Ice Beam. But yeah, this is definitely a Haste Up mon. So Fire, Water, Grass, Soul Rock. We can probably expect to see. It would usually be like him on top for like some kind of Soul Rock check. But Blastoise is a good Soul Rock check and a spinner. Probably a Kanga. I mean, if you're not using Kanga, then lol. And so Kanga and some kind of filler on Haste Up side. And on Parpar's side, we still don't know quite yet, but judging by the team, I would say there's probably a Beller, and maybe for some form of offensive pressure, there's a Spiker, because it alleviates Gramble from having to check Kanga all by itself. So Haste Up has Rosen, and now we'll see what Parpar's Spike's response is going to be. Or Roselia response, rather. And it's going to be Arcanine switching in. Fair. Played it safe, decided to pressure the Rose stay. The chip mattering a bit more on Blastoise. More and more. Okay. Pass the wish. No, I guess no pass. Besides staying in the scout, that's good, that's good. And you get the Soul Rock Toxic, so. And it's likely non-lefties. Definitely non-lefties now. Yeah, that is lead CB Rock. Brush at the Rock Stay. But you have to switch antenna with Spikes up. Crunch. So it could be HP Ground. Maybe I'm misremembering those kinds of calcs. I thought HP Ground did a lot more, but there's a good chance it could be HP Ground. And Haste Up's not trying to just play it safe, trying to just Fire Blast whatever's in front of it. Haste Up knows there's going to be a Tentacruel coming in, and there's going to be some kind of offensive answer to. He needs to like be able to offensively answer the Tentacruel well, especially with Spikes up. Solid spin. Haste Up knows Spikes are just too good. So if Parpar is HP Grass, he would release it now. Yeah. Ooh, rough. Yeah, Tana really can't switch in too many times, so there's gonna be a definite E-speed here. And there goes Tana, and Spikes are permanent. There's a Gligar. Oh no, I wanted to pause there. Oh. So Gligar on Arcanine. Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily go Gligar on Arcanine because there's still the risk you take of getting Fire Blasted, or unless you make some kind of tech to live Arcanine Fire Blast in this kind of situation. But there's also the possibility that Hazup is typically slower than Gligar Arcanine, which I hate, but happens, is a Hazup thing. So if Hazup's safe, he goes Blastoise, and that's what he does. So that's 2 KO with Spikes up. Decides to. Don't know who the HP flying was for. I guess caught wanted to randomly cast the Rose, but he could still chunks it. There's an Electrode. Okay, so there's a. Okay. There's something to really make use of those spikes that are on the field, and for some kind of endgame presence with Pataya. So Arcanine's still alive, but it's chipped. Gramble is semi-chipped, but there's spikes on the field, which generally makes Electrode so threatening right now. Doubles the Solrock to see the Electrode response, and it was Kanga. So that tracks. That tracks. So now Hazup can just kind of click here. Oh, decides to boom the Gramble. Decides, you know what? I think my Solrock has kind of just done its job. I'm gonna boom it on the Gramble until let my possible Kanga, note possible Kanga, go nuts. Because this is pressured by offensive Kanga. This, it can do things, but Body Slam paras are annoying, which Hazup is known to run a lot of Body Slam Kanga. So I just go Arcanine. There is no Kanga. So, Trode, Lapras, all signs point to Curse Lapras right now. Honestly, all signs point to Curse Lapras. Watch. Curse. Yep. Yep. Trode to help boom on annoying electrics that would punish Curse Lapras, such as Ampharos and Lantern. But, ugh. Ugh, nasty. Nasty. So I guess the end game with Parpar is to try and force Lapras into arrest and find some way to capitalize off it. I guess stall it with Toxic plus Wish until you manage to find an opening. For those of you who don't know why Curse Lapras and why not like something with physical stab, because there's no physical stab in Advance with Water Ice. Hazup can just very freely curse here because Lapras can't get crit. It has shell armor. So Toxic is getting more and more heavy, so Hazup decides to just rest. That is a Manectric on my screen. I shit on Manectric so much. Oh my god. It's such a surprise to see it from Parpar. So there is the Curse Lapras punish. So something has to switch in, and it's probably going to be Rose. Thief. I see it. I see it. I see some people talk about how the main way that Manectric can really do things in this meta is to run Thief. Electabuzz also has Thief, but it has a harder time fitting it over some of its more standard coverage, like T-Bolt, Ice Punch are basically mandatory, but also HP Grass, HP Ground, Focus Punch, Toxic. But Manectric can more freely run Thief because of its more limited coverage options, meaning it doesn't have to run something because it's so bad that It has to run a low common denominator for, and it works here, I guess. You thief the rose, which forces it into more syntheses. Synths. I think if you rose your stun spore here, but yeah, miss. That can be annoying sometimes. Fire Blast missed. Of course it did. It's Arcanine. Oh, it decides to punish. So, huh. Interesting decision. I guess Parpar just wanted to force it into another rest instead of just randomly curse boost again. So that was solid. Now Arcanine can just freely E-speed here, unless it can just get staticked, which would really suck right now because there's no Beller. And Hazup just decides to keep the Trode, so it can possibly like HP Grass HP Ice the Gligar. That is Arcanine damage on Arcanine damage. E-speed and it kills. Hazup's Arcanines are a little bit attack invested, so they typically reach a higher range on opposing Arcanine and stuff like Tentacruel. Should I be saying that? I don't know, but that's just what I know from experience. There's a Trode. Decided to sack it, bring in Lap. Okay, I understand more of the point of not letting Trode get sacked, so that you have a sack, so that you can bring in Curse Lappers a bit more freely. But that also means Manette can just come in here. Predict? No predict. Parper's not as predict heavy, but plays it safe, and safe is good. Stun Spores the Gligar. Good call. Good double by Parpar. Really good double. Because Rose just gets more and more chipped. Okay. Decides to do the whole toxic stall on Lapras play again. Interesting. Doesn't decide to commit to it, decides to predict the Minac trick. Yeah. This all makes sense, Intim helps the Rose do things a little more, but it's still pressured. Oh my god! No. That... How many Stun Spores have Hazup missed by now? Use 3, hit 1, 2 Stun Spore misses. Yeah. Rough. Hazup saying in chat, man, I get it. Deciding not to commit too hard with Lapras. But Kangen can just wall everything. So if you're Hazup, it's just safe to Fire Blast here, because Kanga still hates switching into Arc Fire Blast with Spikes up, which if you force Kanga into rest, at least that means that you give Curse Lapras entry, so that's what I would do as Hazup. Okay, decides to commit. That's still fair. Double. You could. No, I wouldn't stay as the Arcanine. I would just go Kanga. I would just go Lapras, I mean. Woo! Catches it. So, no more spike, no more pseudo pressure, but also that means no more Manette wall. So Manette can kind of go crazy here once it finds entry on Lapras resting. Ugh, rough. Get the toxic. Stall. Sacks the Gligar. There's an opportunity for Hazel to just rest here still. Yeah. So now is the Manectric switching. Oh, interesting. Okay. I guess decides to. Okay. How many. How many Fire Blasts have missed now? At some point, I'll need to make a counter of Arcanine Fire Blast missing, like, up here in the corner. That's funny. Funny, funny. It hits. Hmm. 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 I can kind of agree with Kanga. It's just that there's also a possibility for that to be Minek range. Maybe not lefties. I'm capping. Send the wish to Minek to help it with. Okay. I can kind of see the angle here. So, because Haysup's at half, there would be quite an early rest about now, so doesn't decide to commit too early. Good calls by Parpar to just wait it out. Now go Minek. Cool. Finally. Oh! Oh, okay. Well, now I think the Lapras is just gone. So now it's up to Arcanine, but I think Kanga might be able to hero mode it because Body Slam Paras, Wish Stall. It's getting a bit low on Fire Blast PP. There, no, come on. There's no way on this screen you can see it. It's at 4 PP. But I think Kanga might win here. Fire Blast miss. That is typical. That's added to the counter. Preserves the PP just by crunching, possibly get a Spadef drop. But Toxic and Toxic Stall should just win here. Wish. Body Slam here? Just for chip? Yeah. Oh, that's a crit! in in a typical Haysup game fashion, Haysup goes out by getting crit. Well, okay, so Parpar won that. So this is an interesting team. It's a double dog team. Arcanine, Manectric. Manectric isn't going with spikes, but at least has enough of the offensive pressure of removing passive damage options through Thief, and just has a lot of general breaking power in the team. That was interesting. I never expected to see Manek from Parpar. Out of all the things I could expect a Parpar to bring, it was probably somewhere in like the S plus to A minus rank, but man, it was solid here. It was a pretty decent Curse Lapras punch since it's one of the strongest elects and isn't as exploitable as Amphi. And here on Haysup, we get Kangalis. Now, Trode Curse Lapras is a pretty good offensive synergy, but it's also Kangalis. So, for those not as versed in advance, Kanga is typically considered mandatory. So, by dropping it, is some people would say akin to GSC Snorlax dropping that, but some players, such as Haysup, have been more experimental and challenged that thought and thought, maybe Kanga isn't as mandatory. But Kanga just does so much, so it's still a bit of a hard sell. So that was Parpar vs. Haysup. That was a good game. Now we go on to Chaos versus Shiloh. All right. Preset thoughts. Preset thoughts. Let me drink some water. Okay. Ugh. Preset thoughts. Both are going to be past teams for sure because they're not the most known builders. Like Chaos especially is so new to the advanced scene. But by the good showing in UUSD and I guess the recency of UUSD, Chaos has managed to secure a spot in UUPL and is on the I forget what the VTubers are called in UUPL, but like there's the VTuber Abby, there's Idols, but I don't think Shiloh's on Idols. I don't know. But Chaos is definitely not going to be not going to be building teams. Probably going to be passed by Boof because Boof has been teaching Chaos a lot about Advance. And from Shiloh's side, you have LPZ and Big Fat Mantis, two other really good Advance players. So, I think Shiloh won't. I think both won't bring something too out of the ordinary, like, you know. But there's like a 66% chance in my mind that Chaos's team right now is going to be the iconic Boof team of Kanga, Amphi, Arcanine, Blastoise, Solrock, SD Scyther. It's a good team. It's a really good team. There's just like a 66% chance it'll be brought here because it's consistent and it's good. On Shiloh, we can't exactly know what to expect. Probably still something for Lapras meta. I hope. But, I still expect something ordinary here. We'll just see. Let's watch. I'm on slow still, so I'll change it back to normal. And we are good. Lee, ooh, like Vivalos Pride. Yeah, Lead Lantern. I don't see some people as high on Lead Lantern, but I think it's a good lead because it's good in the Amphi leads, it's good in the Arcanine leads, it's threatening. Once you get a good lead matchup, you can really get things going with like sub and Gramble. Gramble is a good lead in general. So if you were like, yeah, so if you were Chaos, you could just stay in and body slam or EQ the Lantern because it has pretty shit PDEF. But I get that move. It's just playing it safe, go Kanga. It's just that Lantern's damage can be a little abysmal compared to all the other Elects. So you can probably afford to stay once. So we have Gramble lead and we have a Lantern lead. I don't think the Lantern might be staying here. I might expect a switch. And I decided to T-Bolt. Okay, that's fair. Just decide to scout stuff. That's fair. So Kanga as the main elect switch, and we can probably expect this to be some Kanga that can really support its team well, especially with Gramble in the picture. Gramble brings a lot of the normal breaking offensive prowess, while Kanga helps support the team, but Kanga helps switch into a lot more, and Kanga is Kanga, so. So we might, on Shiloh's side, there's definitely going to be some kind of Kanga response here, and my guess is Oma, because I don't think Lantern teams are good without spikes. So I think Shiloh's best avenue right now is just find a chance for early spikes. I don't know why it was done on the wasn't done on the Gramble, but you know, see, and there's an EQ Kanga reveal, so it could be some kind of still support, but it's EQ Kanga, so it still happens to pressure Elects without static. It hits Oma, it hits Tentacruel a little bit harder. So on Shiloh, you just get your spike and see what Chaos's spike's response is going to be. Some kind of spinner might be here, and at that point you might be tempted to go back to Lantern, But that's also risky if Kanga just decides to toxic, and then, so you have to bring your momentum all the way back. So it's a Quillfish to duel. It's a Quillfish to just give pressure on Shiloh's. Oh, I get it. Oh, okay. It's all a Viva Los Pride team. Because I think this is Viv's. Because, yeah, because Shiloh's on Viv's team. Also, that is a mid-game Quill. I hate mid-game Quillfish. But, yeah, that's me. So it's definitely going to HP Grass here. Oh, yeah, I guess it spikes. Okay, yeah. You can deny the Oma the spike, but you can also, like, force Oma out, then get your spike. Oh, yeah. So, this is probably an offensive Oma. Also, Quill just doesn't have that good SpDef. This is why mid-game Glalie is better. It better spikes on Oma. I hate mid-game Quill. I hate mid-game Quill. So, as far as other moves on Oma, you can probably expect Surf and Thief, because that's typical on an Oma set with HP Elect. You could also expect Rest with Cleric support, and Cleric support in this case would not be Amphi, because there's already a Lantern, so you'd probably expect a Vileplume, which is good synergy on Lantern teams. Um, but yeah, if you're Quill, you probably don't stay in on this HP Elect again. You can probably just go to a spinner and threaten Oma. Because even if you HP Grass, then... Because, like, if you HP Grass, I do not think that is HP Grass range. So, Oma can still come back in, and you have to, like, lose your spikes. So if there's a spinner, you lose... you lose your spikes and your spiker, which is just bad, again, bad for making progress, which hurts your offensive normals. So if you're Chaos, you definitely switch to something like Kanga or a spinner. I probably think it's going to be a spinner here. Lefties. Not a spinner. Opposing Lantern. Cool. So you can probably... There's a couple options for Shiloh. Go to Lantern and just hope the mirror is favorable. Because there's probably a chance that this could be a Paris spam. Because T-Wave, possible body slam, possible body slam, possible T-Wave. There, it could be a kind of Paris spam. But there's also just go Kanga, because it forces Shiloh to have a good elect switch in, and that elect switch... Bleh! Oh my god, I cannot speak today. That elect switch in could possibly just be Kanga. It is. Decides to just toxic with Kanga, forces the rest later in the match, so that's good. Body slam. Okay, so it's possible... I'm trying to think about it. I don't want to draw conclusions too much about either teams. I would probably exclude this being a Paris spam. Probably. I don't want to draw too much conclusions on this being Paris spam, because we can have T-Wave on this Lantern, but there's no guarantee of some kind of Paris spam recipient. But and there's also like a possible Stun Spore Plume in the back. So we never know on either side. But side gets more spikes. So I think Shiloh's starting to get a little bit more feel of Chaos's team and sees that, okay, Quillfish is switching in, Lantern is switching in a little more. I am doubtful that there's a spinner. So we can just spike stack all day. I think that might be a possible angle. Whew. So yeah, you kind of forced to rest, but you could also you could have pressured the Quill, but it'd be hard to switch back in again with spikes up. Weird stay. Soul Rock. So neither has revealed a spinner yet. Hmm. Hmm. Now that I think about it, this is probably a CB Soul Rock. So this probably is like some kind of Paraspam, but with something to still pressure like opposing Lantern and Amphi, because Toxic is just better than T Wave on Lantern a lot of the time. So that could be like a CB Soul Rock Paraspam with not Vileplume on these kind of teams. So I could probably expect Body Slam Gramble a little more. But also, Solrock's not staying in here because it just gets blasted by Oma Surf. So you kind of just have to go into your own Lantern again. And I think Shiloh knows that and can just use that opportunity to just get the third spike and make Gramble's, Lanterns, and Kanga's lives just a lot more worse. Bingo. Good double. We can see what. So now that there's no Oma standing in the way of Solrock, we can see just Solrock's habits, which is typically just click Rock Slide here. See the damage on Kanga and pressure Oma with spikes down. Is that what I... No. Wait a minute. Oh, no, wait. No, that's HP Grass. Oh my god, that's funny. That's hilarity. Oh my god, that is HP Grass Soul Rock for Oma. Oh, that's funny. It's it's doable sometimes. It's a real move on Soul Rock. Oh, good predict. Whew. Healed right off. But also that kind of stung still with spikes up, so the damage isn't as threatening now that we know that this is a kind of lefty's Soul Rock. Some kind of still offensive rock, but not with the damage of CB. So it makes Oma... Well, it doesn't even make Oma switch in a lot more comfortably too, because there's still the threat of HP Grass if you switch in. Revealed Surf. Both have Surf because Surf Lantern is just the move for Arcanine. Bolt Beam has just fallen really out of favor. There's another Soul Rock. So no spinner, probably. No spinner, also probably. But also, these are very similar teams. Lantern, Soul Rock, Core. I've seen this so much from like people like Hantsuki. It's solid. Uh, Quill, mid game Quill Spiker, mid game Oma Spiker. I like Oma a little bit more. I don't want to draw conclusions yet. Maybe that's just like a really bulky Gramble. But also, I probably don't think that's CB Rock. I probably think this is also another kind of offensive Soul Rock. Probably sub. There's an Arcanine, so there definitely is no spinner. And it helps versus Scyther. So Gramble isn't too overwhelmed by CB Scyther. Random switching to Soul Rock, though. There's an HP Grass, but it does jack shit. So yeah, that's a... So that is definitely non-CB too. So I would probably expect that to be some other kind of offensive rock. It could also be HP Grass, in which case that'd be really funny in HP Grass Soul Rock Ditto. But it could also be Sub, which is a good set. So there goes Arcanine. So that could be risky against two lasts that could be pretty fast, like Gligar or Scyther. Doesn't decide to stay because it'll just get surfed and it won't Oko the Lantern. Okay, well, that's fair. And I kind of understand it. Let Alma take the wheels a little more. Decide to pressure the Solrock and everything else, because Alma has a route to win. I think if you're Chaos on this explosion, you probably bring in Quillfish. So I think that Shiloh might bring in something a little bit faster to just come in safely after the boom. We'll see. Okay. So if you're Quillfish, you might be tempted to boom here. Oh, amazing predict. Amazing predict. Yeah, see? There's H of Grass. So now there might be a fast thing. Arcanine. I think you can just Fire Blast here. Yeah, Fire Blast hits everything. So I guess just, yeah, sack Gramble. Oh, okay, HP Grass, maybe. So now, the lack of rock switches are definitely scary for Shiloh. Okay, well there's a rock switching. And it gets boomed on. So I think Arcanine just wins here. Oh, no, that's one for the counter. That's one for the counter. Bing. Fire Blast miss. If I had anyone to edit my vids, I would put Fire Blast counter right here. +1 because this Fire Blast fucking missed. As expected. But has plenty of PP to spare. But it will get more drained because of the miss. Oh, that hurts. That kind of hurts. That kind of hurts. Missing that roll on the overheat. That has a good amount of... Either it's not that strong of a Kanga, or this Kanga has a good amount of Fizz-Def Invest. I would imagine the latter. But also, yeah, I saw a plume. I called it. I called the plume. I called the plume. Both wish. We might be here for a bit. Might. Oh, I guess into him, so. That to get pressure. Well, now I just think that Chaos loses, because Intim... You can just Intim spam, and Kanga just has to rely on stall. Bring an Arcanine. Intim, 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 Intim. We might be here for a bit, so... I could just do what BKC does, tell you how my day is going. My brother held a Tekken tournament last night. Tekken 8 is extremely fun. It's pretty solid. I like it a lot. Just give me all the joy of former Tekken. Still with some new things that I don't understand quite yet, but it's super fun. Tekken is fun. We got a little drunk. We got I had to stay at my brother's. That's a crit. So it could make Kanga just a lot more susceptible to pressure. There. Oh no! Just missed the roll. Just missed that roll. So yeah, I stayed at my brother's. I was a little bit hungover when I woke up, but it was fun. because I got to hang out with a lot of friends. There's another crit, but it really doesn't matter since Shiloh's Kanga outspeeds. So this Kanga just does nothing. Well, this Kanga does kind of everything. I think the last move might be Shadow Ball here. I don't like Shadow Ball Wish Kanga. Shadow Ball EQ? Absolutely. Shadow Ball Wish? You're passive. So I think Chaos gonna have to rely on crits here. And even then, crits like can't really do much because crits can't really do much because Shiloh's Kanga just gets a faster rest. We can probably afford to skip a little bit because I think Shiloh just wins this through PP and Tim. Skip, skip, skip. Oh, what happened? What? So okay, I was wrong. I didn't think a crit would do that much. I saw the EQ crit, didn't think it did much. I'm seeing that crit, and I'm like, okay, Chaos has a win route now. So there's no shot that this Arcanine wins. There's no shot. There's no shot this Arcanine wins. Yep, there's the rest. 2 Fire Blast miss, add 2 to the counter. That makes 3 this game. Crit? No. I guess tries to rest stall. Okay. Overheat. Does it kill? No! Oh my god. No. Okay. Yeah, so Chaos wins here. Damn. No more Fire Blast. It gets so easily stalled. Look. Oh my god. And some people wonder why I think that Arcanine is below Oma in the viability tier list. I do not think Arcanine is too. There's situations like this where it just gets defensively stalled so bad because of its PP issues. And the fact that it has to rely on inaccurate Fire Blast. That's why I made the whole counter is just Fire Blast miss are always bound to happen. But you have to run it on Arcanine. You kind of have to deal with spikes, to make spikes matter. Okay, so I think Chaos wins here, but let's just see. Oh, I clicked too fast. I clicked too fast. Was that the... That was the last overheat! That was the last overheat! Okay, watch this, watch this, watch this. So, 1 overheat left. Shiloh just has to win on a prayer in order to stop the Kanga from rest stalling it. Prayer given. Okay, well, all that I said about Chaos winning through long-term PP stall because of... Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Chaos was having an uphill battle with Kanga trying to preserve PP because can't switch stall, has to deal with Intim with Arc, but somehow managed to get hacks, and just Shiloh just said, you know what, right back at you, I'm going to use my last overheat to just crit you and win. Oh, that's a funny ending. That's a really funny ending. So, okay. Good spikes paraspam. Okay. Oh my god. My brain is so fried from that. Good spikes paraspam because I see Oma and I see Plume. And I think that synergizes like so much better with Lantern than Cough, mid game Quill, Cough. Gramble I can kind of understand. we'll never know what that last move is on Solrock. I could ask Stylo, I could ask BFM or LBZ what the last move was, but we'll never know. But yeah, it's really cool to see Lantern teams developed a little more in the meta. Okay, so that game was super fun. Gary versus Fatty. Okay. We are 55 minutes in. My god. This is going to be such a long video to upload. Um, More water, because Lord knows my throat needs it. Okay, so with Gary, Queen of Bean told me about how she's on Gary's team, the Monsters. That I somehow know. I think Fatty's on. No, the sisters are Hasup. I don't remember what team Fatty's on. But okay, Fatty is just like Hasup in the sense that Fatty doesn't Fatty isn't scared to break the mold. And I like that Fatty has been wanting to do advanced instead of just the old classic in DPP, because Fatty still thinks there's something in advanced that's special to him. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate getting to see Fatty play more advanced, even if it is the last curtain call for Fatty in advanced team tours. But we should go with Blast. And I expect Fatty to have something that's, for week one, still pretty consistent, but still has some kind of break the mold factor. Gary Oak is also a really influential builder in the advanced scene and a really good player too. Long UU history. Um, so yeah, I expect Gary Oak to have some kind of creative team. But Queen of Bean was telling me about how she was trying to build for Gary. I think I want to see what Gary has, at least for early weeks, because I trust Gary. I trust Fatty. Both, like, all of them, trustworthy. I need to set this to normal. Cool. Um, I know Gary Oak is also a fan of mid-game Quillfish. I just think if you're using a mid-game spiker, you would always rather use Oma, Glalie, or Roselia. All are just better mid-game spikers. Cacturn is unviable, but if you're using Quill, you would just... I would always just use it as the best lead spiker in the tier. But that's one thing I can expect from Gary. I've seen a lot of things from Gary, like Rest Talk Muck, Rest Talk Blastoise, mid-game Quill. I think Sub Solrock was a thing that Gary has done a bit. I think Fatty is a bit more high on like toxic structures. We might see a Credilli. I'll just let the game speak for itself. Two unconventional leads. So, just like Hesa, I think Fatty has been catching on to this lead CB Rock a little more. So, it wouldn't stay in here, but it at least reveals that there's going to be some kind of offensive rock team on Fatty's side. And Gary is leading with Tentacruel. Part of me thinks it was part of the scout, but we never knew. We never know. We never know. Uh, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon nickname. That's always a recurring theme in Gary's teams. So I think if you're Tentacruel, you just play it safe, force the switch. Real Zone 10. Okay, well, all that I said about uh, playing it safe. So both are Thief. Okay, I guess that's okay. I think I understand why the lead 10 a little more. Maybe try to catch a lead Arcanine and tries to use the pressure, or some kind of lead Oma, maybe? Like lead Arcanine, lead Oma, some kind of stuff like that. So 10 that doesn't have to switch in and accidentally reveal it has Thief. So it could just get a free early thief without the information of thief, but this also gets backfired by Fatty's own Tenna being thief. I think there is a good possibility that either it could be HP Elec or HP Psychic, but I think if you're Gary, you might be able to stay in, and if you're HP Elec, you can just hit it, see if it's HP Psychic. If it just happens to get the speed tie, then that knows it's HP Electric. And if you win, you could probably assume Psychic, because Psychic is still a good option on Thief Tenna. There's a crit. So we'll never know for Fatty or Gary. But at least there's some in power, which it's Tenna. You need it in power. Unless you're Druid, but... Okay, so there's a Kanga. I think Treasure Town is the typical name of Gary's Kangas. I think Miracle Sea was the name of some of Gary's lanterns, quillfishes, blastoises, antennas, but we see it on Tenna right now. I think Treasure Town is just the typical Kanga nickname. Anyway, if you're Kanga, you might be you can just scout what it's going to do from Fatty just by getting some kind of offensive pressure on it, and that first turn is very telling in general. Unless Gary decides to just double and go to Tenna and decides to push more offense. Doubles. Damn! Nice stay from Fatty. Get the thief on something else. So if it's not HP Psychic when it tried to hit the Tenna, it would definitely try and reveal it now. And that's good, because there's both Tenna and Plume, so HP Psychic would do numbers, and you would need to keep your Tenna around a little more. And also, the Thief is great because it forces Plume into more synthesis. Just like that Rose thing I was talking about, except Plume is better. So we might see it now. That is definitely HP Psychic. Cool. It did so much. I would not be surprised if this were like an offensive Plume. I think I see some... Oh, maybe it's Fizz Def. I don't know. More water. But I don't know exactly why the stay... Maybe if it reveals the stay, there's an absolute possibility that it's just either going to synthesis off the damage just to play it safe, or it's going to like stun spore the Tentacruel now. Sleep powder too. That works. So that did a lot. I'm really thinking that there's going to be a... I'm really thinking that that's going to be a Sunny Day Plume, which I hate, but could work. Lefties, Sunny Day. Not Lum, Sunny Day. Okay. So it's going to be harder for Plume to switch back in because no lefties and it's very low. So it can't switch into like waters easier. And it's slow, so... So now Fatty gets a safe Soul Rock in on the Plume. Probably predicted the synthesis, but I think now if you're just Fatty, you just do what Soul Rock, CB Soul Rock does best, and you just click Rock Slide. Hey, a Golem! I love Golem. Golem's really cool in this meta. Sleep powder. I kind of understand the angle, but I really like Golem. Golem just kind of just does it all. It's one of the best offensive beasts in the tier, one of the best offensive stab combos with Quake Slide, and has Boom to just pose a massive threat to any team. It's one of the strongest booms in the tier. Uh, and it can also play defense really well. Checks Kanga, checks Scyther. Massive PDEF lets it just check a lot of physical threats, which it's better. That's the main advantage that Golem has over Solrock on spikeless structures is the fact that it checks Scyther so well, because it can also do like Rock Blast for SD Scyther, sub SD Scyther. If it's switching on a Solrock, that could. Did it reveal lefties? No, it did. It could just probably just Rock Slide itself, or maybe it could AV Ghost. I don't know. No, I think Gary's more high on Focus Punch Golem. Oh, that's another Gary invention, is Focus Punch Golem. It's sauce. It's super sauce. There's Slowking. That's pretty cool. So, okay, so I think I kind of get an idea of what Fatty wants to do a little more. Is just keep Tenna around a little more so that you can keep the Slowking live, and so that Tentacle keeps being an defensive threat. But also you have Slowking itself pressuring how much of this team so far? That was so early of a boom. It could be worth? Question mark. There's an Ampharos. That gives proper cleric support to Slowking. So it's unfortunate that the Plume isn't as heavy to switch into here, because Amphi can just crush it with HP Ice. Because the Tenna HP Psychic did quite a lot to Plume. I wouldn't be surprised if it was really pressured by Amphi HP Ice. So, but I think if you're Amphi, you just throw out status here, see what happens. Yeah, there's a T-Wave. Massive punish on the Arcanine stay. I think Amphi, if it's T-Wave, it punishes Arcanine pretty well. So, tries to scout a Tentacruel switching, but is forced in around half health by the Amphi T-Bolt. So I think if you're a Rock, you can also just you can just Rock Slide here, just click Rock Slide. This might. But if you're Kanga, I think the damage has already been revealed with the roll prior. Maybe. I can't remember. But this would be a Shadow Ball / Toxic opportunity now. Okay. That, just lived. Skin of his teeth. So, yeah, it doesn't reveal lefties, so it's definitely CB Rock. But also that did so much. Possible. There's probably not going to be much good CB Solrock answers now that the main Rock Resist Golem is gone. So it's going to be tough it's going to be tough for Gary. Hey, no Golem! Yay! Yes! Yes! I love Golem! Okay, didn't reveal Focus Punch too early, even though there was a good opportunity to use it. Just decides to EQ and thuds into the Solrock. But it's fine. Protect Golem. Okay, I kind of get why boom the Golem a little early. This is a double rock structure. That's so cool. That's pretty cool. Reflect Rock to, I guess, switch into things, and Golem to not be passive on your normal switching. That's cool. I think this is a good case where you can justify Reflect Rock. I don't really like Reflect Rock too much. I just think it's so passive into the things that switches into Soul Rock, and you're typically slower than Kanga anyway, so you don't get a fast Reflect Up, and you're still forced into pressure. You're still pressured a lot by Kanga's Shadow Ball, and this is why I like Toxic Soul Rock to hit Blastoise and Omastar, and cripple them over the longer course of a game. I like Toxic Soul Rock a lot in this meta, and I think Reflect Soul Rock is falling off. But I think on this kind of structure, if you're using a less passive normal switching and such as Golem, then yeah, you can probably justify Reflect Rock. So this Golem is kind of walled, and this Soul Rock can just click EQ all the live long day. It doesn't decide to though. And I guess Gary knows that this Golem could just easily be Focus Punch. Oh, what do you know? Double Rock's here. I didn't even think about that. Double Rock, Double Rock. Very similar structures in Shiloh's and Chaos's teams. I mean, not this, but this too. Just so similar structures. A lot of advanced players just... Great minds think alike. That's the best 4 words that can be described this kind of situation. Great minds think alike. I guess stall reflect turns until time is right. Damn. Huge damage. But also, it just got healed right off with Wish. And I get why. The Focus Punch there, because it could just easily smack Golem and make it recover negative health even with Wish up. So it decides to slam into the Golem, but Reflect is going to be gone now, so Golem can just predict Soul Rock switches and prevent it from setting up too easily, just by like going to his own Soul Rock or probably predicting the... Oh no, because it's asleep. Okay. Ooh. Ooh! Big damage. Golem does so much damage. I love Golem. Focus Punch protects, so it's either not Rock Move or not Explosion, but I think it doesn't want to drop Explosion. Yeah, it could be Rock Move. I think there's enough Explosion with CB Soul Rock that you can just wall break with it a little more and have Golem play a little more defensively while still hitting some of the things that it wants to check. And also, not having Rock Move makes it walled by Scyther, so yeah, no boom. EQs, destroys the plume. So I think the Tenna is going to come back in. Oh, well, yeah, get the Wish on Kanga, of course. But I think now... Oh, yeah, Aegis Cave is the typical nickname for Gary's Soul Rocks. Okay, there's the Soul Rock Predict. And it's Rock Blast for SE Scyther. Cool. Oh, all 5 hits. Really cool. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 21. That's 21. That's 61% damage on that Soul Rock. I could have subtracted 39 from 100. That's a lot of damage on the Soul Rock, especially the crit. So that Soul Rock is a bit less tempted to switch in to the Golem now. It could just Rock Blast here again. Yeah. Bing, bing, bing. 3 times. Cool. 11 post lefties. Decided to talk to Kanga, decided to force it into a Wish. This is Focus Punch Wish. I love Focus Punch Wish as a set. It has so much cool synergies to it. Focus Punch Kanga is such a drug, but I love it. I love it. And this is... I think it's going to be Return Kanga. Let's see. Yeah, it's Return Kanga. So, yeah, typical mono Kanga, which is good on a structure like this, because everyone likes Wish support, everyone likes the Toxic to cripple the Soul Rock support. You're going to Wish too. I guess the Golem, if Soul Rock predicts with EQ. I see. So now the Toxic damage is reset, but I think that Gary still wants to rest at some point here. because I didn't get to see the speed creep on either's Kanga. Ties of Wish probably passed it the Rock, especially now because it took all that damage from Golem. Predicts the pass, but doesn't outweigh the Wish damage. Reflect Rock passive, Reflect Rock passive. So I guess just pressure more. We could still be here a while. Faster Focus Punch. Faster Focus Punch. If the Golem got it, it'd be sick. It's more safe to just like, ooh, sick. So that Tenna is, I mean, I want to say that's 10 HP psychic range, but also Tenna isn't really alive right now, so we can just thief the Amphi lefties. No, it decides to keep Tenna for the, oh wait, it did thief something. Okay, no, okay. Decides to, doesn't try to wake just yet, decides to see the Tenna response. Try to just switch in Tenna with own Kanga. So, okay, Gary's is faster. Okay. Force more into rest. Force more into rest. But, yeah, it's good that... at least you can click this PP, because Focus Punch has so much PP, the hell? But yeah, that's the thing that can happen with Focus Punch while you're asleep, is that it still reveals, oh, there's Kanga gone, so... If he is in... Damn, that did nothing! What the hell? Well, there's no Beller, because if this were a... Blah, can't speak. That's what an hour 20 minutes of recording does to you. So... That para is definitely sticking because Aroma Plume is gone, and this just makes it more susceptible to pressure from this Amphi and a lot of the other threats here. It can still boom though, so it's not hopeless against anything. Now we've probably tempted to boom. No, not after getting Reflect. Okay, we're gonna be here a while because Wish Kanga. Half damage to the rock. Para, oh that sucks. Oh, that sucks. So you either come into the task with sacking your Soul Rock, letting Arcanine take the wheel, or maybe, yeah, no, Fatty just wins this. Yeah, because this Amphi is hero moding past everything. So yeah, good game from both Fatty and Gary. Also similar structures, just like the Chaos Shiloh game. Double rock structures, I think, are really cool right now. Golem is such a beast in this meta. It pairs really well with Wish Cleric support while being a good offensive behemoth in its own right. Yeah, I like both Fatty's team and Gary's team. I experimented with Golem Slowking at one point. I think over Soul Rock, I had was it an Arcanine? Or was it a Gligar? I don't know. But I experimented with this 5 a little bit, Golem Slowking. It's so cool. And here on Fatty's side, you get more pressure out of Plume sleeping things so that the offensive Golem can go crazy, start focus punching things. If it was focus punch, which it probably is, like EQ, rock move, explosion, focus punch. Yeah, cool teams. I never seen lead Tenna before, but now I understand why we do lead Tenna. Okay, so Hyoga versus Exern. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know what Hyoga's gonna bring. I don't know how Hyoga's adapted well to recent changes with Arcanine and Lapras. I don't think Hyoga's played like any kind of game since, but who knows? We could see something cool, but also I think Exern just has a lot of recent success. Same with Chaos. Like the USD showing was really good. Use Booth teams was. I think Exern also plays by the book a good amount, but Exern is good at playing by the book because he knows how to pilot teams super well. So we might. I'm expecting a big advantage from Exern, but we will see. Advance is advance. Set this on normal just because I need to. I needed another water break. Okay. I really hope that my throat doesn't like hurt after this. I haven't done this in so long. Anyway, let's just see. Lead Ampharos. Lead Omastar. I got both wrong. But two good leads. Gramble's a good lead. Arcanine's a good lead. Both are in Tim, so this isn't Flash Fire, but 90% of Arcanines are in Tim because it likes switching into Scyther. Yeah, so if you're Gramble, you switch out here. This is why Arcanine is so good. You might be able to get a Thief if you're Arcanine if you play really aggro. Plays it safe. That is definitely Thief. So it can probably reveal that opposing Tenna also has Thief. I hate shiny Tentacruel. Green. Ew, I prefer the red. So it could Thief, but it also, since it just took an Arcanine Fire Blast, might be just tempted to stay in and not risk too much. So you decide Surf, yeah. Oh, so that Tentacruel is lefties. It's Druid, okay. So I think this might be HP. It's hard to tell because Druidcruel can kind of go lower than max speed. But possible HP ground Druidcruel, I wouldn't put it out of the question. Okay, so so they speed tie. Okay. So this could be either 319 Tenna with a typical Druidcruel spread. This could just be like HP Psychic with 319. 2390. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, if if Yoga has spikes, they're staying up right now. Druidcruel is mean sometimes. Druidcruel is so mean. But also, if Druidcruel decides to commit to the sweep a little more, it can't spin later in the match. Oh, you gotta see chat. Pokemon. They're so right. Pokemon. Like, Pokemon. Yeah. So, there is a Kanga switch in. So, there could be a good chance that Hyoga got passed from... There could be a very solid chance that Hyoga got passed from Hasup in some kind of tour. So, I wouldn't expect I would expect a grass in one of these slots. This is where I'm kind of like, okay, maybe there's a grass, maybe there's a Lapras, maybe there's possibly a Kanga, because, going Kangaless is fun. But I expect a grass spiker, because that's just the Haste-Up way. So, Himmeltop switches in, but we'll see exactly what Himmeltop switches into, but I think if this is going to be like an offensive Kanga, that's going to EQ the Tentacruel, which would be really good here into Arcanine, then Himmeltop just kind of comes in for free on this EQ. But if it's Body Slam or normal stab, it's like, okay, switching in. Yeah, it's Body Slam. Fortunate Para. Pokemon. So this Himmeltop either Walls? Man, it just clicks break here. Huh. Hmm. 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 I have something in my. I can't speak. Okay. Breathe. I have a thought. I have a little suspicion, but I'm not gonna say it until after Exern's whole team is revealed. Nidoqueen is super good in Lapras meta though. This threatens every kind of switch in. It has to force some kind of reveal, and it doesn't have to just play it safe either. It can just easily Sludge Bomb here and just get a Sludge Bomb poison. Poison? No, no poison. But still, you get what I mean. Nidoqueen is such a good defensive breaker. Hmm. 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 You know, shiny Solrock, shiny Solrock. I think this might be my team. Oh, it'd be so funny if there were a Lapras right here. That'd be so funny if this were my team that Exern is using. Okay. So Solrock has Solrock switch and just that is CB. There's such a good opportunity for this to be my team. That's why you typically switch Solrock into Solrock is because it could just easily have Shadow Ball and pressure opposing Solrock so well because not a lot of other moves do it. Rock Slide can, but not too well. It's like a 3 KO with CB Rock on regular Rock or maybe a 4 KO on defensive Rock. I am thinking at 100 miles per hour. I think that stay was like super risky for Hyoga. I think the rational move is just see what kind of Solrock set is trying to be by going Hitmontop. That's my team. That's my team. That's my that's my team. That's my team. Woo! Okay. So the tentacruel switches are looking a little more dire. Oh, oh my god, there's no water resist anymore. So the tentacruel switches are looking a little more dire. That was such a preemptive boom though. That was so preemptive. That was like I don't know why Hyoga did that. But I guess it worked. So you can just bring in CB Solrock in? Risky. Probably need a queen. Or yeah, I just can't get because it's neutral and everything. There's an Amphi. So yeah, I made an analysis on Amphi about how it tends to like invite Nidoqueen because there's so much moves that Nidoqueen can come in on. Heal Bell, T-Bolt, Toxic. Even if it Heal Bells here, nothing really likes taking a Sludge Bomb poison still. So, and Amphi doesn't really like staying in either because it just can't pressure Nidoqueen back too well. So there's a lot of looping pressure that can go on with Nidoqueen, but I didn't even know that there was a wish. Stay. Yeah, see? Like, come on. I can't really tell why Hyoga does what Hyoga does. But it's something. There's definitely a Kenga in the back. Decide to think, yeah, no, Amphi, I don't want it. Goodbye. If that something that did, it makes Nidoqueen have less entry points, but who cares? So bulk up him on top. Cool. Tempted to boom on it with Solrock. Yeah, booms, brings antenna. Sludge Bomb does nothing unboosted. But bam, because Druid Curl is typically hasty. It could easily, this top could easily predict with EQ, but I also think the safer move is just to click bulk up. Yeah. So it has to rely on sludge bomb poisons, and I think this just kind of wins unless body slam para. Okay, there's a chance that Exern could win if he plays well. There's a good chance. And I don't know why Hyoga's not going him on top and into him stalling it. Okay, well, hacks, Haxero, Haxero. Cool. So that's that game, pretty much. Oh, well, wish. Haxero. Focus Punch Kanga doing Focus Punch Kanga things. That's my team. That's my team. But Pam. Yep, Exern wins, of course. Because Kanga went hero mode. Focus Punch Kanga is such a drug, and I love it. They say Pokemon over here. This is a pretty good set. I really like this. Exern used my team. I am so surprised to see that. I love Needle Soul Rock cores and the para that helps CB Soul Rock sweep. And oh my god, I love it. I love it so much. I'm surprised that team's still getting passed around because I've seen Michiu use it in LPL. It's just, I like the team. I didn't pilot it well in my first go, but Pokemon, you know? And this is a little more standard stuff, but it works. It works. This him on top. Oh, it's like a dual spinner type thing. So Tentacruel doesn't have to spin. Him on top can spin, so that Tentacruel isn't forced to like run spin as last slot. Because if it's Druidcruel, it's typically bad at spinning because it can get overwhelmed in choosing what battles it runs, what battles it decides to choose besides between the Spikes War or the Sweeping War. So that takes a little bit of an edge off. So it could be Substitute, it could be HP Ground, it could be HP Ghost. It could be, I think, one of those three typically. But this is cool. I think every game I've seen thus far has been very good. This is a really good showing of player creativity, and already out the gate, not deciding to just bring 5S ranks +1. It's all like, there's a lot of Soul Rock here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Soul Rocks already. That is interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed these games. I'm going to be doing these for all other 9-ish weeks of UUPL. So 6 more weeks of standard play, unless there's like, yeah, typically like 4 games per week, unless in pools there's going to be like a dead game, semifinals, and finals. So I might get other co-commentators on to help me with this. This has been really fun. I've really liked watching these, and I think I'll be doing more of these. I loved going into it blind. So this has been fun. Amity out. I will see you whenever week 2 comes out. Cool. Peace.